So I don't know about you, but one of my favorite things to do is lie in bed at night and think instead of sleeping. This is especially satisfying when it's 2 o'clock in the morning. Half joking, full serious. Anyhow, I was doing exactly that the other night, planning out my practical anatomy classes and just thinking about the curriculum I'm going to be teaching. And I started thinking about stories and how stories are really what brings dry information to life. Some people totally jive on science and math and structure. Most of us, though, love a narrative. And when it comes to the narrative about the body, there's nothing better than evolutionary biology to explain why we are the way we are and put it in a practical and accessible context that we can all relate to and easily then turn into a workout. So today, what I'm going to do for you is take a couple of my favorite concepts about the body and turn them into a combination lecture and mini workout that's going to get your body going in all kinds of new ways and be fun and educational in the process. We're not going to go through a lot of the anatomical names because I want to keep this short, but I am going to give you the principles behind how our body works and moves. So I'm going to lose the shoes and we're going to talk about the feet. So when we think about our feet, we have our common areas that we all know. We've got our toes, we've got the arches, we've got the heels. Maybe we also know names such as metatarsals or phalanges. Maybe we know about cuneiform and cuboid bones. Maybe we don't. For the purpose of this, it doesn't really matter. But I'm going to give you some dry information and then we're going to make it juicy. So as far as the joints stack up in our feet and our legs, there's a principle of hinge, rotate, hinge, rotate. It's kind of like tearing the dotted line. So it starts with hinging at the tiniest knuckle of the toes. If you bring your finger underneath your toes and you kind of grab around them, those knuckles just go back and forth. And then when we get to the place where the toes connect into the base of our foot, those actually rotate. So if you take your big toe and you make a circle, you can feel that. The shape of the joint allows for that to happen. And that also allows for us to roll side to side on our toes and that not be something that's going to break our little tiny toe bones when they take the whole weight of our body. Then we have our arch. That one's more of a hinge. There are a number of bones that are working together to make that happen. And then our ankle rotates. Our knee hinges. Our hip rotates. And we can somewhat track that pattern up the rest of the body, but we're not going to. So let's stand up and just take a look at that for a moment. Let's walk around. So as we're walking, I'm pushing off of my toes. The ankle is hinging and so are the knees. And if I want to turn around and move in different ways, the rotation is allowed through the toes and also by the ankle and the hips. If we stand and try to access the full rotation of our ankles, it doesn't seem like we have a lot of possibility though. Until we remember that as humans, we started off on all fours. And when we were on all fours, our heels were off the ground. So if you look at a cat or a dog, you'll see that they're on their paws, like their fingertips, and the heel of their foot is actually up off the floor. So try this with me now. You can either do it on the floor. You can put your hands flat. Please do lift your heels off. Or if that's uncomfortable for you, go ahead and take a chair and just use the edge of the chair. Raise and lower your heels a few times. And then shift your weight forward and go ahead and start to twist your ankles around and see how much range of motion you all of a sudden get that goes all the way from the toes up to the hips and how easy it is for you to roll over your toes. So a great exercise to do to start warming up for the day or whenever, and this is where we're going to start and we're going to lose this shirt, is just by doing heel raises in that triangle position. So either on the floor or using your chair, go ahead, shift your weight slightly towards your hands, lift your hips in the air, and start to raise and lower your heels. You're welcome to have your knees bent. You're also welcome to have your legs straight. I'm just going to do that about 10 times. So when you think about how we came to be over all this time and how much time we've spent standing on our heels and putting our feet into shoes, it makes sense that we would have lost a lot of potential for movement in our ankles once our heels went down to the ground. And reestablishing that is going to reestablish a whole lot of range of motion and plasticity for the rest of the body. Now, if this hurts your arches or if it's a lot on your ankles, you might want to also start working on the strength and the flexibility of your toes. So let's add on. We're going to tuck our toes underneath on one side and just bend and straighten a few times. And then roll the ankle side to side. The heel is free, so that should be pretty easy. And then change feet. Bend and straighten a few times. Just trying to touch the top of the foot down to the floor. And then roll the ankle side to side. Stand up, shake your hands out if you like. We're going to go back, add a few extra back and hip stretches, and then walk around the floor on all fours for a little bit. I'm going to go onto the floor for this part. If you want to keep your chair, you're more than welcome to. So, butt in the air, hands on the ground, heels up. Let's start to raise our heels up and down. And now we're going to start to twist the heels from one side to the other, getting all kinds of delicious back stretches. Don't be afraid to roll on the feet and put different pieces of them on the floor. Because you've got your body weight on your hands, it's a lot easier for your feet to play with their position in space. They're not afraid of taking your full body weight. And so you can get them used to load bearing in all kinds of new ways, which is incredibly good for you. And then let's take one knee in and then put the leg back. And the other knee in and put the leg back. And then cross one knee to the opposite elbow and put it back. Other side and put it back. And now we're going to take a walk around whatever space you have. So when you do this, let's put the right foot forward and the left arm forward. And the left foot forward and the right hand forward. So we're going to move in the same contralateral pattern as we do when we actually walk. And I encourage you to do it in a messy room and avoid all of your mess. Stepping over tables and chairs, going sideways and backwards. This is something that's really good to do for 1 minute to 3 minutes in the morning. You'd be astonished at how quickly it turns into cardio. But log that for a moment. We're going to move on. So meeting me back at all fours. Let's start to shift our weight forwards and back. Feeling how you pour the weight over the hands and then back over the feet. And then rest. Bring your arms out in front of you. So your shoulders have had one of the most interesting evolutions of them all. Because when we were quadrupeds, they were a load-bearing joint, primarily in the same position that we just were. And then, those of us who swung from trees know very well that our shoulders were also traction joints, designed to pull the body through space, which also was a place where probably our hand strength evolved to really be able to grip. And then finally, now, our shoulders rest on our body and do things for us in that fashion. So if we want to create healthy shoulders, we want to give them all of that input. So the first thing that you would do would be exactly what you were doing. Going on the floor and crawling around. So let's move back to that position one more time. So you're probably going to be really feeling your muscles now. And I'd like you just to circle your body around your arms. And can you feel the muscles in your torso and your back that support you as you move your whole trunk around your arms? Your abs work for you. Your sides work. Your serratus is working. Your back is working, your lats are working, as well as the shoulder itself. We have a number of muscles that are helping us do this to support the shoulder joint and all of these different relationships with our body as we move. So another great exercise for the shoulders is just to weight bear in different hand positions. So let's try that. Let's begin to slowly walk our hands out and in, drawing a circle with our fingers, taking a little bit of weight, or a lot of weight if you want, into the palm, getting wrist stretches, and shifting that load side to side. You can push off the ground as you change sides. And after you've completed one or two circles, go ahead and stretch out the back of your wrist, placing the palms upwards, back of the hands down, and just shift side to side a few times. This is a fantastic exercise for things like tennis elbow, or tight wrists, or carpal tunnel syndrome. Press the back of your fingernails down to the floor because it's helping us to stretch out the tendons that come off of the forearm and actually control our fingers. Let's just shake the hands out now. And let's give our body the other piece of this. We'll go for hanging. So for this, I just think everybody needs a pull-up bar in their home. I'm going to demonstrate on my stall bars, but if you don't have a pull-up bar and you want to try something like this now, you can use a door. So we'll just liberate the doorway here. Anything that has a good frame to it, grab both sides of the frame, and then we'll start doing the same exercises on the door frame as I'm going to teach you off my stall bars, or you could do on your pull-up bar, anything similar. Now you're probably thinking, I can't do a pull-up. How am I going to do this? Let me teach you a leg-assisted pull-up. It's really one of the best exercises. Pull-ups are a goal, and the process by which you get there is going to give you the strength you need to eventually get a pull-up or just become healthier and stronger in your own body. So go ahead and hold on to the bar at about chest height, or even better, if you have a pull-up bar that's high, you can attach some straps to it, and then you can hold it any height that works for you. I'm going to use my Elements level loops because they're here. I'm going to wrap my hands through and grab them like a dog leash. And then I'm going to sit down and let my arms take a bunch of the weight. Then I'm going to pull down with my arms to stand back up through it and let my feet assist me as much as I need. We'll do that about 10 times. And I want you to feel how the shoulders get pulled up as a back stretch. And then as you pull the arms down, they slide down the back and lift the chest up. If you're using straps, you can also start to experiment with twisting a little bit and hanging into different stretches and even pulling up that way to feel the myriad of muscles on your back that allow your scapula to move in an X shape, or even easier to think about, a circle. In my course, we'll also talk about how the scapula lies on a circular rib cage. And so the inside of it is actually shaped in a curve that fits onto the ribs. And it's fascinating how well it fits no matter what angle it's at. So you can play with letting your scapula wing out or pull onto your back and find all kinds of muscles that help you do that. We'll have 3 more and call that 10. And now just one more exercise that's pull-up related. Let's go ahead and do leaning pull-up props. So for this, you're going to want some straps. Bring your hands around. And you can start with stepping back as far as you can go. Keep your body quite straight. Let your arms straighten out. Let your chest lift. And then pull yourself back up to standing. Then take a step in towards the bar. Do it again. You can start feeling all of your abs get engaged and also finding those muscles that broaden your chest. engaging your rhomboids, pulling down on the lats, and all the other good terms we're going to learn about in action in practical anatomy. You can continue doing this closer and closer to either your door, or if you have stall bars, you can even start to climb up the bars. For a pretty wonderful core workout. So that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed playing with all of these ideas. And it's not too late to sign up for practical anatomy and applied anatomy. I hope you join me. They're going to be awesome courses.